and I'm joined now by Ekkhard Ernst from the International Labour Organization. Thanks very much for joining us.
Morning.
First of all, this report looks at 15 years. What are the main findings?
Well, in our report on growth, employment and decent work in LDCs, we really find that the important thing for these countries to grow is transforming these economies out of agriculture into manufacturing and services. And the way to do that is really to create an economic environment where countries can grow, where the enterprises can grow, they can grow larger and more productive. But we need to make sure that workers' rights are protected as well, and in particular that these workers have the right education to be able to take up new jobs in manufacturing and services. A lot needs to be done in terms of creating enough opportunities for working poor to move out of poverty through, for instance, creating social protection in unemployment, healthcare and pensions, but also to create an environment where a lot of conflicts and war and social strife that these countries have experienced are being flattened out and peacened.
And what other difficulties do they face? You touched there on education, but also we see in the last few years that Africa has started to de-industrialize, almost going back.
Well, this is a general problem not only for Africa. For a lot of LDCs, the problem is really that there is a huge international competition, so facing this competition is difficult for young enterprises. Now, these countries really need to make sure that the companies that are investing in these sectors can grow. A lot of barriers exist, not only because of people are not being properly educated, because lack of access to finance, access to markets actually doesn't exist, and there needs to be an environment created for these economies to actually strive and grow in order to be able to compete internationally.
And very briefly, when you looked at the LDCs, what countries are really above the rest and heading towards this economic diversity that they need?
And one of the success stories, for instance, is Ethiopia, which has really grown by 40% over the last 5 years in an amazing amount of time, moving out of a really low-income country, which was known for hunger and human difficulties, into a country that is now growing faster. Ethiopia, as you know, is the first country in Africa who has created its own Trump system. And I think this is really some of these examples that need to be promoted first. But it shows that what's important is public investment in a large infrastructure, in education, in public transport, etc., to be able for these countries to grow and thrive.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Ernst.